In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at layers in Adobe Animate. So we'll just increase it a bit so we can see our layers. So here we have layer 1. Here's our frames. Each frame, you see it's a bit small there, so if you want to adjust the number of frames that we've got, we can actually zoom in a bit there. So you can see 30 frames is 1 second, and that will be our frame rate, frames per second, 30 frames per second. So we've got a layer here. I'm just going to add a shape. So I'm just going to simple square. We've got a fill color, a stroke color. The stroke color at the moment is blank. Okay, that means that I'll only have one fill color. If I select a stroke color and then draw a shape, I end up with two different objects. So you can see here I've got my outside and then I've got my fill there as well. So I don't want to do that, I just want the one. So I'm just going to undo that, Control Z. You can go edit undo. So I'll select my rectangle, I'll get rid of my stroke color, click on that little white square, the red line through it. Okay, so now I've only got the one shape. So if I draw that rectangle, grab my move tool there, you can see it's only one thing. Okay, so I've got a rectangle on that layer. I'm now going to go down and create a new layer. So I'm going to, you could right click, although that might not work anymore, it doesn't. So you can click on that little plus sign, plus new layer. So now I've got layer 1, layer 2. I can toggle between these. You can see the little eyedropper or the eye symbol here. If I click on that, that's going to hide that layer. Okay, so on layer 1, you can see there's something on it. Layer 2, there's nothing on it. So on layer 2, I'm just going to hide layer 1 at this stage. So I've just got layer 2. I'm on layer 2. You also notice with the frames that there is actually a black circle. Okay, so it's got an open circle. It means there's nothing on that frame, whereas this one here's got a closed in, like a full dot. So that means in layer 1 that there's something in that particular frame. So I go back to layer 2, into frame 1. I'm just going to right click on that rectangle so I can bring up an oval tool, just so I've got a different shape. I'm going to leave the stroke off, and I'm change the fill just to a different color, doesn't really matter, red will do. And I just draw a circle. So now I've got, if I show layer 1 again, I've got a rectangle and a circle. So on layer 1, I've got my rectangle. On layer 2, I've got my circle. You'll also notice that the circle is sitting on top of the rectangle. So just to show how these layers work, if I swap those around, so I'm just going to click on layer 2 and then hold my finger on the button and drag it down to the bottom of layer 1. We now have layer 1 on top, so I now see the rectangle above the circle. And that's it for the first video, just on layers.